Hello and welcome back to another episode. It's another guest episode today, which I am so excited about. Um, that are coming thick and fast now for sure. So this will be going out on Christmas Eve, which is so exciting, and it is a lovely girl called Demi. She is an incredible girl. I'm not going to give her much introduction because she'll be able to introduce herself, but she has came through the ranks, as so to speak, as a person who lives with anxiety or lived with anxiety, and as a mum and as a business owner. She's now got an incredible travel business called Noir and Noble. I hope I've said that correctly. So in a second, she's literally in the waiting room. Can't wait to see her. Beautiful girl, and I've been in cahoots with her and talking back and forth in messengers for quite some time now. But I've actually not got a chance to see her in the. It's not really the flesh, is it? But anyway, so looking forward to this chat. I will be back with her in just a second. All right, I am back. I am joined with the beautiful Demi. I'm so excited to have her. Thank you so much for coming on. This is actually going to go out on Christmas Eve. So
Oh my
it's
God,
exciting.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
so nice. So let's go straight. I'm just going to go straight in at the deep end, right? For anyone who doesn't know you, so a lot of people on like probably won't know you on this kind of platform. Who is Demi as a mum, as a business owner, as a woman? Like who is she?
Okay, so my name is Demi. I live in the West End of Glasgow with my fiance Jason. We are planning to get married next year, might be getting moved to 2027. It is an absolute nightmare to plan. I have two kids. My son is almost 16, who I had when I was 17, by the way. And my daughter will be 9 next year, and her name's Jersey Rose. So try and spend as much time as I can with them. My 16-year-old doesn't want to spend a lot of time with me now. I'm not
Yeah,
cool enough.
yeah.
So that's a journey in itself.
Hmm.
And I also own a luxury travel concierge. We
You do?
specialise in luxury travel for female founders. We have our own Paris retreat this year, many more of them to come. And yeah, that's me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So when you look back, so we're going to basically that all of these guest episodes are all kind of unsure. Where's the shift, and then where you going, basically. So when you look back at your younger self, obviously you mentioned there that you had a child at a really young age. But what were the, and you spoke when you spoke to me before, you talked about anxiety and having quite a lot of anxiety. What was the first signs of anxiety and shaping like your world when you were younger?
So, as far as I can remember, when I was really young, I used to always get this feeling that like something was really wrong, like something
Mm,
bad was going to happen. And I still remember that right back to I was probably about 8. I've got such a good memory. So when I was like really young, and in my household, like I'm not blaming anyone. Like we
yeah,
all have our own kind of conditioning and things like that. But my mum was very OCD. So I was
yeah,
always quite scared to make a mess, but she wasn't doing it in a bad way. Now that
yeah,
I'm older, I can recognise that, like
yeah,
in that sense. So and I was always dead fearful and just always thought that something bad was going to happen. And I was always quite confident though as well. So it was like the two of them
yeah,
coexisted. And I still feel like that's just as the same now as what it was then. It's like
yeah.
a battle of your mind. So I then like had I actually had some counselling when I was younger for it. Because I was taking panic attacks at school. And I
Jeez.
had asthma as well. So that really made it worse.
Yeah.
Because I was worried about my health. So I then had like situations when I was at high school that I was bullied and stuff. So that then made it worse as I progressively got older. Like
Yeah.
all the life's problems were coming at me, and I didn't have the coping strategies to deal with that. And when you think about it as well, like I'm only 33, so see, even in the 90s, mental health wasn't a big thing.
Yeah. Wasn't spoken about.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
spoken about enough. And obviously it's a something that we see every day on social media now. And I'm so grateful for that because it helps people that would have been me at 8 years old that didn't actually have the tools and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, you spoke about patterns and like that is a massive thing into it, like when you're like you are conditioned by your parents, and it's not to say that that's like, oh my God, you did this to me or whatever, because like they only know what they know, and they can only give you what the tools that they know. Do you know what I mean? So,
No,
but
exactly.
it shapes you hugely though, doesn't it? It really does shape you hugely. It's only when you're older and you start to peel all those layers back that you're like, "Oh, you get it, but you get it from a place of understanding and being like, it's okay. Like, do you know what I
I'm
mean?
actually going through that now with my daughter because I see very much signs of myself in her with
Yeah,
anxiety and stuff. Like me and her dad split up when she was really young, and we all get on really well. I'll do anything to make sure that my kids are happy and that we all co-parent really well. But my daughter has anxiety. I can see it in her so
yeah,
much. So I'm so grateful that I went through that because now I can make sure that she does have the coping strategies, and
yeah,
that's a journey in itself, trying to ensure it's one of the ones as well because it makes me anxious because then I'm like, I don't want her to grow up feeling that way. And how can I fix this? But at the same time, I need to kind of let her
do
have
what
her
she
own
needs to do.
life
Yeah,
as well and learn. So I work with her a lot on her confidence and stuff and just trying
yeah,
to, and I have seen a shift with her as well. So it's one of these things. That's another reason why I'm grateful that now it's something you can talk about.
yeah.
She was
Uh-huh.
actually at school the other day and she's been having a wee bit of trouble with someone in her class, but it's not the other wee girl's fault. They just don't get it on. And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
actually communicated to her, Donna, and she said to her, I'm not going to be able to be friends with you anymore if you don't respect my boundaries because
Wow.
I get anxiety and overwhelmed really, really easily, and you're not listening to me. And you know that way I could have cried because I was like, I just wish that I had someone to say that to me and give me the tools when I was younger.
Absolutely. And
So
that'll shape her for so much of her life though as well, isn't it? Won't it? Like, and like you say, like it's all well and good when you know, isn't it? Like, so my two will be the similar. They'll have had a lot of things that they probably shouldn't have seen or shouldn't have heard or whatever, because you only, when you learn and then you can shift it. But like, there's maybe probably a wee bit of damage already been done, but it's like, well, they'll
yeah,
heal when you heal too. Do you know what I mean?
yes, true.
And they can recognize like where you can talk to them and communicate with them and be open with them. That's amazing. And at
I
9 years
know.
old, wow,
I
that's
think it's
amazing.
just all of the like hard work and effort I put into trying to fix myself and like trying to heal over the years and stuff. And I don't want her to ever feel like she needs to be a people pleaser. And I don't want her
Yeah,
to feel like because sometimes she's at school and she'll always say, oh, I want to do what you want to do. And I'm like, but what
yeah,
does Tracy Rose want to do?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
No.
Like, use
So
your power, use your voice
yeah,
for sure.
don't
Yeah, I
worry.
think
Bear being my daughter, I'll make sure she's got that power.
absolutely, no, 100%. It's the same with Mila. Like, she's going to be a pure force to be reckoned with when she's older. Do you know
You
what I mean?
won't.
But like, I'm like, get in there. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's amazing. And I remember talking about the healing. I remember when I went a period of time in therapy, and there was an element of mum guilt because when you don't know, you don't know, and then they do go things. I'm pure off on a tangent already. I
Oh,
knew
it's all
this would
right.
happen. Else
I'll
too.
do the same.
And and I remember her saying to me, like, but when you heal, they heal too. And it was just like a like almost like a weight, but also like it just a like light bulb. But it's like, oh no, actually they do because they get to see that. They get to witness the transformation and the shift and the putting the boundaries in place and all that and the standards raising and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's amazing that I think sometimes people think that like a major bed you need to lie in it when
Yeah.
actually that's not the case. Like there's so much more like growth to be had with you and with your kids, and when you grow the kids grow too.
Mhm.
It's so important. So obviously you said mentioned anxiety starting at home and then being reinforced at school.
Yeah.
How did that environment, because obviously school is a hard time, isn't it, like at the best of times anyway, how did that environment shape the beliefs that you carried into adulthood?
I think it made me feel like I had a lot of like maybe like a kind of bit of abandonment issues because then I
Yeah.
thought like I've been friends with these people for all like since nursery, so why are they treating me this way? And
Mm.
I'm not saying that like oh everyone was jealous of me, but I was brought up with the best of everything. My mum and dad worked their absolute butts off to give me and my wee brother absolutely everything. And I was a little bit spoiled. And we grew up in the East End of Glasgow in Easterhouse. Like it's not everyone's got money, but my mum
Yeah.
and dad worked their bum off for it and they don't look down on anyone. So it was one of the ones where I felt like certain people didn't like the fact that I had things and stuff. And I used to always blame my mum because I would be like, well, you're buying me this designer stuff and people don't like me for it because I was the
Yeah.
odd one out. And I know that sounds like first world problems to
Yeah.
people, but it at a young age, it kind of correlates to my mum because she felt like she needed to do that
Yeah.
her kind of beliefs and whatever. So
Yeah.
that's why they say it's generational trauma, isn't it? But I feel like it made me feel like that. It also made me feel not good enough, and I would maybe be then start to be a people pleaser to kind of
Yeah.
have friends and do things. And having the anxiety made me feel like I didn't fit in anyway because I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling and thinking the same as the other people. But it definitely made me very defensive, like
Yeah.
very defensive in my older life. And I feel like even now, when we're talking about high school being hard, maybe boys never really had any trouble at school, and that's
Hmm.
him being 16. He just keeps himself to himself. He does
Hmm.
his work and he's so incredibly smart and intelligent. And I'm so grateful for that because at his age, I was doing the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it absolutely terrifies me for my daughter because you know what some like, and it's not as if I'm blaming girls, but we've got hormones, we've got all these other things to
Yeah.
think about. So I do get it, but because I've actually went through that, it does scare me because I don't feel like she's going to be able to defend herself, and it
Hmm.
takes me back to that kind of inner child that I
Yeah.
was and wanting
Yeah.
to protect her and make sure that she doesn't have to go through that. So I enforce to her all the time, like I said, to make sure that she's got that armor so
Hmm.
that she doesn't go through that. But I guess that's probably still parts of that that aren't healed in me. But
Yeah.
I'm not a bad person. I don't take out what's happened to me to other people. I think because of that, it's made me a better person because I
Yeah. Yeah. For
understand
sure.
things like that a wee bit more. But it was horrible. Like I remember I get moved school. The high school I was in, I moved school to one closer to my house, and then it kind of happened again. And I know it like sounds like a common denominator, but I think I was just an easy target
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
was quite quiet and I didn't stick up for myself, and I wouldn't fight with anyone, whereas everyone else would fight with each other.
Yeah.
And I remember literally ditching some of my classes and hiding under the stairs in the building of the school. And I actually forgot all about this until at the start of the year. I was talking to my partner about it. And you know that way when you're doing the inner work, you
It,
remember things, it
all
comes
this
up.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
And I said to him about it, and he just looked at me like, what? And I was like, I used to hide. And then I remember like the janitor stuff coming in the stairs, and I would pure get terrified because that they're going to make me go to this class and I don't want to go. And I don't
Mhm.
actually even think the people that done this to me even knew this either.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I actually talked to one of them now, but the other ones I don't really know where they are in life. But I don't hold a grudge. I get
Yeah.
it. We were young, we make mistakes, but it's mad how an experience like that can completely change the trajectory of your life.
100%.
And it's definitely something that is hard to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Like you say, like school is hard. Like school is hard anyway. I just think, see, with kids nowadays, it concerns you just because of how like it was hard when we were at school, like as it was. Like in that age is horrible. It's a horrible age, but and people are some kids are horrible, but now there's the added social media, like all like and you can't escape it. So at least when we were at school, I don't know about you because you're younger than me, but we didn't really have a phone until we were like 15, and the phones were like bricks. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like it wasn't like it is now. So whereas if anything happened in school, and everybody would get bullied in some capacity, like and maybe not bullied, maybe that's a bit extreme, but like we'd get slagged off or whatever, but you would go home and then that would be it. Like it wouldn't be. But nowadays, like they can constantly be
Yeah.
kind of kind of trolled. I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose it is, isn't it? So it does. It is. It is frightening, and it's funny how you mentioned about with your daughter coming up to that age and how much it's kind of almost triggering that inner child in you, because I would say very, very similar for Mila when she was coming up to kind of 13. I don't know, I just get this whole sense of like, do you know what I mean? Like, but like you say, you need to let them do their thing, and they need to learn, and we learned, and it's made us amazing, like much better people for going through
Yeah.
that. So you left school at 15, which is young for
Yeah.
like especially back then as well. What did that teach you about yourself?
Well, I had already had a job when I was like 15.
Right.
So I
Hmm.
worked in a cafe at the weekend, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was up, I was there. I was like, my mum and my dad are hard workers, so me and my brother have always got that from them.
Yeah.
Um, so and they both own their own businesses as well. So no, like that's exactly how I've ended up here.
Yeah.
Um, but I basically had the job, and then I ended up just going full time in there for a while, and then I got offered like an apprenticeship at Peter Vardy's.
Right.
So funnily enough, I didn't know that my dad's job at the time, he used to have like valeters in the garages. So therefore,
Hmm.
I walked at the head office and my dad was there. So it
Oh
was
no
quite
way.
cool. It made me feel a wee bit better, but then I had the pressure on me to make sure that I didn't F it up because my dad's company obviously had an incredible relationship with them, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I ended up there for about a year. And then, well, I was only 6 months from my apprenticeship and I absolutely loved it. Like, I learned so much. It was human resources. It was my first professional opportunity that someone took me seriously, considering I had zero to no qualifications.
Yeah.
Um, and after 6 months, they offered me a contract. Um, my contract lasted for 6 months because I then found out I was pregnant with my son
Right.
at about 16, yeah. So basically at the time, my contract was on like a probation. So they weren't ever going to keep me on and then have to pay me maternity pay. I totally get it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had left and yeah, had my son at 17.
So becoming a mum was a huge transition, especially at 17, because like obviously like I've got Dylan, my Dylan's 16, so he's just coming up for 17. And he is very much in that space of like thinks he knows it all, right? And we were there. I was there once upon a time. You think you know it all at that age. You think you're pure grown up, whatever. But yeah, like the reality is you're not. Like when you now look back on it, you're like, my God, I'm so young. But that must have been like one like emotional time for you, and it's a huge shift. Becoming a mum at any age is a huge shift, but becoming a mum like when you're so young, what did that look like emotionally or anything for you?
Well, basically at the time, obviously, I ended up moving in with my wee nana. She's no longer here as a wee soul, but I moved in with her. She stayed really close to my mum and dad anyway, but it was just for the best because obviously my dad was just like didn't
My
have a
baby.
clue what was going
Yeah.
on. And to
Hmm.
be fair, I was quite rebellious when I was younger, so I used to
Yeah.
like go out all the time. And the partner that I had at the time was a bit older than me, so I thought, oh, I'm so smart. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
16, I'm an adult. Like when
Hmm.
really I wasn't, and I
Yeah.
thought I knew it all. But to be fair, I didn't have the easiest pregnancy with Brooklyn. I ended up really unwell many a times, and I did end up in the hospital with sepsis at the end of my pregnancy. So that was scary because I was like went in for a kidney infection and then ended up like 1 minute. Basically, I'm trying to think about how it felt like. So I was absolutely sweating, but I thought I was freezing. So it
Aye.
was something like that. Obviously, it was 16 years ago, but and I just remember like his dad leaving the hospital and then they phoned him like 20 minutes later because I just turned like that. So
Hmm.
that was quite scary because I'm only 17, you know, I can't exactly have my mum, my dad, and his dad there. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to.
Yeah.
So that was quite hard. And then they took me for like an emergency C-section and they gave me the jags and stuff that he would need for his lungs to grow and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm going to end up in a situation here where I need to decide on my life for my sons.
Yeah.
So it was
Which is
quite, I know
yeah.
I don't do things by half, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was quite hard. And I think, do you know what? I think I dealt with it so much more easier as a child than I would have if I was an adult
Yeah.
because I was so much more resilient then. And I
Hmm.
hadn't had a lot of life trauma other than my bullying. So
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of just took it on the chin. But yeah, I ended up having that was I think I was only about 33 weeks or something, 34 weeks when that happened. And then Brooklyn came a week early at 38 weeks. I had a natural birth with him, but I ended up with a forceps delivery and I ended up in hospital for like a week after, couldn't walk. And it was just, I felt like it was a lot to deal with thinking my body's changed.
Yeah.
That's what I
At
remember being
that
like,
age. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, I don't feel like myself. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know, I just don't feel like Demi. It
Hmm.
was just quite crazy in that sense. But I had took care of a lot of my nieces and nephews. I call them nieces and nephews. They're not, it's just cousins, but I was the oldest. So I had brought them up with their mums and dads and stuff. So I knew how to
Hmm.
take care of a baby. I knew how to change a nappy. I knew how to feed a child and I knew how to care and love for them. But this was one that I couldn't give back.
Yeah.
So I was it was a lot, but one of the things that I did end up with was like my anxiety got so much worse
Yeah.
once I had Brooklyn because I then had a child. I wasn't happy in my relationship and I got my own house.
Hmm.
So at 17, got my own house, got a full-time relationship and a baby. It's a
Yeah.
lot. People don't get that sometimes till they're 30. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was quite tough in the sense of I started to get really anxious that something was going to happen to him.
Hmm.
Like I didn't want anybody near him. They did think that I maybe had like a touch of postnatal depression, but I didn't actually score on that. It was
Hmm.
more that it just amplified my anxiety, what was already there.
Hmm.
Um, so I remember like my cousin coming to see Brooklyn with her family, and I just picked them up, went upstairs, shut the door, and told nobody to come anywhere near me because
Hmm.
I was just so overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
like just three things like that, and just one more thing that I remember. I'm going right down memory lane here because I didn't even remember this until I was talking about it.
Do you know
Was
that's
that
the best way though? It's the
uh,
best way.
I had Brooklyn's gran was coming over, coming down to visit us. She lived in Inverness at the time. She still does, sorry, but she came down to stay with us for a week to see him and stuff. And she was asking if she could take him a walk to the park.
Hmm.
And the park had like a big like lake thing, whatever they're called. And I was like going out my mind, going, oh no, what if he falls out the pram and he falls in there? Like that's crazy talk.
Aye,
But in
aye.
my mind, it was very rational.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was stuff like that. I didn't want anyone near him. I didn't want him to touching him. Like so that didn't last for too long. I was quite lucky
Hmm.
because my parents and stuff had got me back to the doctors. I got like medication for it, and after a while I was fine. But um, and then I kind of settled down a wee bit.
Aye. I think sometimes as well we are, I mean, I don't remember being anxious with Dylan, but maybe it was a bit of that, but because he was my baby, like I was 23 when I had him, so a good bit older than what you were, but he was my first baby and it was like he's mine.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? He is my, so my mum used to like try and take over. We stayed in my mum's for like a little period of time just to kind of get used to having a baby. But I remember my mum tried to take him and give him a bath and all that, and I was like, he's mine. Like, don't touch, like, do you know what I mean? I was
yeah,
fine with everybody like, oh, play whatever. But see, when it came to like the things, do you know what I mean? Like the baths, the feeding, all that sort of stuff. It was like precious. Like he's mine. Don't like, do you know what I mean? And it's funny though, because second time when I had Mila, I was like,
yeah,
it's funny how your first is like it's like precious and like even like that you're wanting them to do all the things like oh you can't wait for them to do all the things but with Mila I was like no slow down sit down don't walk yet do you know what I mean it's funny how you do that so between that obviously that was 16 years ago and if we would come back up to January this year because this has been the big shift happened take us just so we don't jump too far. Take us through like how did your anxiety and all that like look like between the 16 years ago up until when to 2025 happened and you were like I am done with this.
yeah.
Like what
I think
happened between that
there's
time?
been plenty of times within that time frame where I've went like, you know, I need to go to therapy or I need to do this and I
Yeah.
need to fix that. And I think what I've learned now is that, you know, you're always going to have something to heal from. You're not
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
ever be fully healed. And I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to be like, well, I should get over this by now, or I should be
yeah,
okay to deal with this because I am mentally strong. But as I get older, that's starting to slip a little bit because I'm not taking care of myself in the way that I
yeah,
probably
yeah,
should. Well, no, I am now, but at that time. But I put myself in many situations in that time, whether it be bad relationships, you know,
mm,
obviously wanting to have like a business or do things, but just not having like the nervous system to deal with it, basically, I would say, because my
yeah,
inner beliefs weren't right. So I went
yeah,
through a wee bit like that. And it was actually 2022 that I went back to therapy for my anxiety. And that did really help for a period of time. But I think it's just one of the ones sometimes where you go to something, you want to do it, and then it kind of falls off.
yeah,
But I had like a really, I've not that I've had the worst experience in travel. That's obviously what my business is in. But there's been many ups and downs in this over the past 5 years, which have shaped me to
yeah,
be where I got to in January this year,
yeah,
where I was just like, this isn't working for me the way that I want it to work anymore. I'm working my butt off. I'm exhausted. I'm on my phone 24/7. This is not why I started this. Like, why did
yeah,
I start this? I've not got the clients that I want. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but in a service-based business, you know yourself, you want to work with the people that appreciate you,
yeah,
that understand your service and actually want to use it, and not just somebody that wants you because, like for me, it necessarily like oh, I'll come with you because it's cheaper, that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
provide a service. Do you know what I mean? So there was loads of different things that just didn't sit with me anymore because I was changing.
yeah.
And then once I kind of reframed me and I thought, I could either just walk away for this and the whole 5 years that I put in,
Mhm,
or I could completely reframe it and make it work to what I want. And that's
mhm.
what I've done.
Which is
So
incredible. It's incredible. So you were in the travel business since 2020, for somebody else.
So basically, I've had a few, I've been part of a few different agencies, and you will find that anyone in that space will do that because different agencies will give you, different rates of commission. Some of them will give you, you'll have better suppliers, better connections, better support. So you're always moving to where the level your business is at. But I can say confidently, like where I am now, I don't think I'll ever leave.
Yeah.
I've known these people that in the agency that I'm part of for the last 5 years, and I wish I'd done this with them
Sooner.
years ago. But it was
Yeah.
just that kind of fear.
Yeah.
But this year I thought, you know what, like it's been 5 years since I started this, and I'm not that I'm behind, but I'm just not where I want to be. And it was
Mm.
only me that was stopping me. It was that fear, it was
Yeah.
that anxiety, and I was like, I'm causing this.
Yeah. And I
So
think that's crucial, isn't it? Like recognizing, like it's okay to be not where you want to be, but recognizing that first of all is amazing. Like if you can recognize that you're not where you want to be, and instead of being like, ah, poor me, like raging with yourself and raging with everybody around you and raging with the world, like actually, right, well, it's on me. Like I'm the only person that can shift that. I'm the only person that can change that. Where do I want to be? Right? How do I get there? And I think it's so important. Like anybody can do that in any industry, in any shape of life. Like anybody can do it. It's like you're making a
yeah.
choice to be like, I want to be, I'm not happy where I am and I want to be here. Um, so what pushed you to the edge of stepping out, like stepping away from what you were in to where you are now? What was was it a thing or was it a
I think
continuous?
it was starting to bore me. Like I didn't
Yeah,
have that one. I'm like a very high energetic person. Like my
yeah,
alarm set for 5 in the morning. I'm doing my admin at 6. Like I
yeah,
am the most like I love what I do, but I spill out I love with it. And I
yeah,
thought I didn't come this far into it to give up. So
yeah,
what can I do to reframe that? Because when I get bored of something, like that's just the way that I'll be. And I was like, but I
mhm,
don't want to give it I don't want to break it apart. I don't want to set it on fire. I want to
yeah, yeah,
rebuild it. I want to do something different. So I think I just had enough, and I had enough in myself and my own excuses. And obviously, we know there's so many different people out there that work in travel now, and that's
yeah,
amazing. But I just thought, well, what can I do that's different? How can I stand out for that crowd? And that's what I did. I decided to completely rebrand. I did still have lots of clients from what I had before that still booked with me, even though I've changed brand. But creating offers and things that actually align with me and
yeah,
the destinations that I want to actually send people to. Um, I joined like a networking group in Glasgow, which is probably the first one that I've been to, and over the years I've been bored and stuff,
yeah,
and that just kind of gave me that wee kick as well, like because you're around the people that get it.
yeah, for sure.
And then after that, like when I was around the people, I thought, who can I relate to the most? Like when it comes to like, kind of somebody that I'd want to work with and provide my services to. And I was like, a business owner, like female
Yeah.
business owners. It just like sparked. And I was like, right, okay. So then that was that. And I started doing that March, April. I
Hmm.
reframed all that. I'm still reframing things now. This isn't
Yeah.
something that's happened overnight, but and then I actually had started to provide a service for helping business owners create their retreats because I had
Hmm.
heard of so many people like, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't have the time to do it all. And what if I do it and something goes wrong and then they blame me? I take that full like stress away from that and
Hmm.
the heaviness of it for the clients. But I actually was checking over my goals last night, just seeing what I had achieved so far this year that I set out to do. And
Yeah.
I actually had put on it that I wanted to host my own retreat. And in March, that seemed so far away. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm never going to be able to do that. Guess what? My retreat's almost sold out.
So
You know
exciting.
what I
And
mean? Like,
it just goes to show like sometimes the things do feel like they're so far away. And sometimes they are. Like sometimes it is baby steps to get to there. But if you don't put it out there, then you're never like it's that whole thing where like if you don't ask the question, the answer's always no. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean? Like it's the same idea. So you mentioned the networking group that you got involved with. And this isn't even in my questions, but I just know this. So, and obviously you connected with another girl who is doing the retreat with you, and you have created such a beautiful friendship, haven't you? Really, it's not even just a
So
business.
I think this is what's so beautiful about it, because I love things like that. Like I
Hmm.
feel like people will probably think I'm cringe for saying this, but I don't care.
Mm,
I genuinely feel that nothing is put in front of your path that's no meant for you, right?
yeah,
I believe it every fibre of my being. And I believe that I was always meant to go there, because if I didn't go there, if I didn't push myself out of that comfort zone, if I didn't put all this consistent effort in this year, I would have
hmm,
never have met Abigail. We met
yeah,
8 months ago. We are
yeah.
now taking some of the like most amazing business owners that I know in Glasgow to a content retreat in Paris next April.
Which
And
is insane.
in addition to that, we've created such a lovely friendship. She literally
Yeah.
texted me the other night and said she's got me a gift, and I was pure nearly greeted.
It's
Like,
so, and it just goes to show like this time last year you didn't even know each other, and and
no,
yet you're one really good friends, and you're running this incredible event together. So it
yeah,
just goes to show like that environment dictates, doesn't it? Like get yourself in rooms that are surrounded by people who are either like-minded or who are above you, or like these sort of different things are going to elevate your energy and your aura
yeah,
and your connections with people, isn't it? Like I've been doing a lot of stuff going to different events recently. Don't get me wrong, I'm a bit like evented out, but it's where you create a connection, isn't it? It's where you create that connected energy and create incredible like that's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful story. It's almost like a
I
love
know.
story, but almost
I
like with
know
friends.
it's so wild. Like I just and we talk all the time. We support each other so well. Like I'll run decisions past Abigail. Like I'll message
Mhm.
her and be like, "What do you think of this?" Like
Yeah,
because I trust her opinion. We've both
yeah,
been in business for the exact same amount of time, and when
yeah,
you've got that friendship with someone, and she constantly like bigs up my business, and I've also got one of my best friends who started a business as well, and me and her have been working with each other a lot, and it's just so nice to see what
yeah,
women come together, what you can actually create and actually help and
yeah.
inspire.
Absolutely, because a sisterhood is so powerful, isn't it? And I think as well, if when you being a business owner, again, I'm pure off on tangent here, but it's fine. Being a business owner can be quite lonely because you're doing a lot of the stuff like solitary, like unless you've got like a team around you. But even like that, when you have a team, sometimes that's not like we're together in an office, do you know what I mean, or whatever. Like it can be quite solitary, and also a lot of if you're a business owner, it doesn't mean to say all your friends and your family are business owners, and if they're not, they don't get it. Like they don't get the amount of pressure, the amount of like actually even just stuff. I think sometimes I don't know about your family, but sometimes my family think because I don't have a 9 to 5 job, like I can just do anything at any time. And I'm like, no, like I can do it if I have advanced warning, but you can't tell me on that day, can you go pick up this or can you go take somebody here? Like I can't like things are all like in place. Do you know what I mean? It's funny how people, if they're not in business, they don't get what it takes to be in business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
So,
have to tell Jason this every morning. Like when he's getting up for work, I have set times in the morning. The reason I do my admin at 5, at 6 is so that the rest of the day I can get on with what I need to do. And I
yeah,
rather have that done so that it's not like getting pushed away.
getting
And
in.
he'll come in and he'll talk to me and he'll ask me questions and I'm like, I'm working. Get
Aye,
it.
aye, and because you're sitting in your house, like, no,
Ah,
you can't
does he
work, and
get
you're
it?
like, no, yeah, I'm actually doing it, and the admin's a boring stuff, and it like it's so it makes sense to get out of the way. I hate admin. So you talked about limiting beliefs, uh, earlier. What were the limiting beliefs that you had that were holding you back from this version of you that you are now?
I think like this is probably not going to sound like it's related to anything that I'm saying because there is some other things in there, but
Mm,
that I've not spoke about. But I did have like 1 or 2 instances in the time of having my business where I've worked with someone, it's not worked out very well. It's kind of made my confidence lack and made me feel like, do I have a space in the travel industry? Like, because there's
mm,
amazing people in it, right? And I do believe I bring a lot to it, but it kind of made me feel like I wasn't good enough. It made me feel like I was silly for ever working with that person.
mm,
Um, or just, yeah, like not good enough. And one of the things that I've actually noticed even maybe this year, as I have been consistently pushing myself out of my comfort zone,
Yeah,
has been that I sometimes feel like I'm not good enough, or I can't be happy with what I've achieved because I'm looking for the next goal and I'm constantly trying to feed that thing. But
yeah,
I'm learning and like peeling the layers back and being able to find out where that comes from. And I think sometimes it comes from like where I actually was born. And I feel like someone from where I'm from shouldn't have that. Like, do you know what I
mm,
mean? When I
yeah,
actually had worked with a coach at the start of the year, and it was her that said to me, your postcode doesn't define who you are.
hmm,
And I was like, but I've never felt like this in my life. Like,
hmm,
I've always been very confident and outspoken and just said what I want to say. And like, so I can only say that came from the situations that I've been through in business because it's tough. And you do go
yeah,
through hard times, and sometimes you don't have people to help you because they don't get it. Now
yeah,
I'm lucky that I'm in that networking group, and obviously I've spoke to you a few times. We've
hmm,
had conversations, but I definitely feel like feeling like I wasn't good enough or I didn't fit. But I'm reframing that, and I can see now from what I've achieved this year that I am
yeah.
definitely good enough and that I actually can have what I want.
Absolutely. I think in the work that I do, I would say almost every single limiting belief. I'd maybe go to say all, but again, I mean, I can't say that for sure. But like in the work that I experienced, the experience that I've had with people that I've worked with, everything comes back to not feeling good enough. Literally everything. Like
Is
every
that?
single limiting belief comes back to either not feeling good enough or not trusting yourself, which
Mhm.
again would be they're interconnected anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a massive thing that holds people back, and there's no magic wand. There's no magic wand. You're like, oh, I'm good enough now. It is literally like creating continuous proof, isn't it? By doing the scary thing, or by stepping out just a wee bit outside your comfort zone, or going to the event, or signing up to the coach, or whatever it may be. It's like you need to create those little instances of there's proof, there's another wee bit of proof, there's another wee bit of proof, and then it solidifies into this big, and it's not to say again, it's just like, oh, it just happens overnight because it doesn't. It's like slow and steady, and there'll still be times when you'll get pulled back into it and have those moments. But again, when you have better tools and you have people around you and you have maybe a coach or a therapist or whatever, it allows you to to come away from the emotion a little bit more and be more logical. Do you know what I mean? Because they can either reframe it for you if you don't have the ability to reframe it yourself. That makes
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
So what kind of tools? So obviously you've said like you've done a lot, you've went to therapy and all this sort of stuff, and you've came a long way. You've done a lot of personal kind of journey, personal transformation, personal development. What kind of mindset tools or practices actually made a difference for you? Do you do anything like
Yeah.
religiously, or is it like something that happened like you done initially, or like what kind of tools do you use?
So I've always had like a morning routine. I really love being able to get up before anyone else in the house. I feel like I need that because my life's so fast paced.
Yeah,
And something that I've incorporated over the last 3 months is like daily and nightly meditation. And I've started to add in ones during the day because I feel like I'm on my phone a lot
yeah,
and I'm jumping through app to app. If it's not Instagram, it's LinkedIn, it's we've got an agency one as well. When then check up in supplier groups, it is a lot, and especially just when you're just looking at a screen all day. So just
yeah.
it's so important to me to be able to sit back and clear my mind, and I do feel better after it. So it's like, well, why wouldn't I do it? It
Mm-hmm.
gives you that like kind of release, I suppose, to be like, I can deal with this kind of thing. But I've always had a kind of morning routine where I mix it up. So I've got my gratitude book. I've been doing that since I was 19 years old, every single day. I've got about 10 of them under my bed. And I look back on them and it's nice to see, like, if you're saying, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and you've got the
Mm-hmm.
thing
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
were
yeah.
actually grateful for it. I do a lot of visualization, and I'll put my earphones in. I'll put like the most upbeat song on, get my vision board just up there as well, and I'll look at that and visualize and stuff. But other than that, I'll just read like different books all the time and keep myself like, up to date with the things that I like. Currently, I am on Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and I am like so gutted that I didn't have this book when it was first out.
Oh,
I
really? I've not read that
oh
one.
my God.
Oh, really?
I'm so into like I binge watch space videos. Like
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me
I
that.
love it, right? I am honestly like, it actually makes me upset. My partner Pro laughs at me all the time, so I'm like, it makes me upset that I'm never going to know what happens at the other side of a black hole.
Literally.
Like, I physically, my brain cannot comprehend it. But because his books kind of incorporate quantum physics, it makes me really more interested in it, and I just
Yeah,
love it. I love everything that he speaks like. I've been doing his meditations, and I think constantly, not one system is going to fit everyone. Everyone
yeah,
likes different things. Like I do journaling sometimes, but sometimes I don't like to do it. So I mix and match them depending on how my day is or how I'm feeling.
mhm,
But I think it's really important to have like a guideline or something
yeah,
that your wee good tool system that you can
yeah,
use to help you every single day. Because let's face it, there's always going to be times in business where things go wrong or things happen or that's going to knock you for six. So you need to be prepared for that. And the only way to do that is to have a system what keeps you grounded.
yeah. It's like that having some sort of routine, isn't it? And you know, most of the conversations I've been having on the guest episodes are exactly that, like meditation, gratitude, journaling, like movement. Like, do you know what I mean? It always comes back to the same things. Like it always comes back, and like you say, it's like see when life is busy, and let's face it. The Western world, we're designed to be like you're only successful if you're busy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's so important to take a bit of stillness because that just creates clutter, doesn't it? It's just clutter, clutter, clutter all the time. Whereas when you can just take that wee moment of just stillness and I spoke about this yesterday to the girl I was recording with, but I think people sometimes forget that meditation doesn't, you don't need to be like, you're not thinking anything. There's no thoughts allowed to come into your head. You must be still and quiet and nothing that else can happen. Like, that's no real, like, it's not realistic. We're human beings. Like, it's like you're going to have thoughts, but it's just, and that's all right. Like, that's okay. I think people get so raging with themselves that they're not doing it right, but there's no
Yeah,
right thing, I know. And like you say, the gratitude, starting your day with gratitude, like, and obviously I speak to a lot of people and I give them little like hints and tips and stuff like that, and quite a lot of it is um quite, I suppose, quite negative, right? And I don't want to be judgmental or anything like that, but it's like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do this and I can't do that and I've got this and I've got that and this disease and blah 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 blah. Blah. And I'm like, but what can you do? Like,
yeah.
what actually can you do? Like, see, instead of thinking about what you can't do, what actually can you do? And see if you can just do that one thing, like say one thing you're grateful for every day, because there'll be something you've opened your eyes, like you've seen the I don't know, you got some fresh air, what doesn't matter what
Yeah.
it is. But see, when you can start to reframe your brain to be like, right, look for the good things, because we're so designed to be like negative, 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 and yeah, like it's
I think as well, which is important to highlight as well, is like for someone like me who, I mean, I'm not, it's hard, right? Because when I say I'm anxious, people that are watching will watch this and be like, really? Because I am
uh,
the most energetic, happy person, but it really depends on my mood, how I'm feeling, how I slept the night before. It really affects me,
yeah,
and stuff like that, how many coffees I've had. But um, I think it's important to say, like, when you're in that state of constantly being anxious, sometimes I don't like to feel calm because it's
yeah,
safe to feel like chaos.
yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make sense?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like it can be hard for some people to get out of that because I know sometimes I've had to force myself physically to do a meditation because, and
mhm,
I'll swing back and forward with myself about it, but I'm like, well, I've got two options. I can sit here and feel sorry for myself all day, or I can
yeah,
do the 10-minute meditation and feel better in 10
yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
And it's just
absolutely,
a lot of the times I feel like that. It depending on how I'm feeling that day,
yeah.
I can feel like I just want to be miserable or I just want to be
And
in the
that's
chaos
okay.
because it's safe.
Yeah, 100%. And I think sometimes as well, like it doesn't need to be the meditation either. Like, see if you're feeling like you've got excess energy, you can just move your body, like just literally move your body, because sometimes that energy just needs to be released in
Mhm.
some way. Do you know what I mean? So, like moving your body again, that'll help your nervous system, like you were talking about earlier on. Like there's always something that you can do in that moment, and but like that, sometimes, like you say, sometimes you just need to sit in it, and feel it, and let it go through you. Like there's been definitely been times where you like I've spoke to people or even at my own self that you just need to allow. Sometimes we're a bit guilty of being like, oh, let's not feel that today, let's not feel that, but ultimately it's going to manifest in some way if you don't allow. I've been doing a new therapy. I'll not speak about this too much because I spoke about it yesterday, but basically a guinea pig for this mad therapy is to do with tuning forks. And the girl was saying, I actually didn't say this in this the episode yesterday, but the girl was saying, so I went to her last week and she was like, I was totally like just at the game. Like, I mean, at the game, absolutely at the game. And it's tuning forks. So tuning forks, and then she does it in different areas of your body. And I went to the first session, she's just done different bits, and it's amazing how you can feel the imbalances from this vibration. Like, it's amazing. So I was like, oh, so the first time I went to her, I was talking through it and I was going, oh, I feel like this here, I feel it here, I feel it going up my leg here, da 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 da. But then this time I was like, that I'm not going to speak. 'Cause I'm just going to allow. Like, so is that because sometimes you know that you distract yourself by speaking, and therefore you don't allow it to do what it's got to do. So she spent a lot of time like in my pelvis area, and when I came round, I was like, I felt pure outer body there. Like, it was weird. Like, it was very weird. And she was like, yeah, you totally dissociated. Like, you totally dissociated. She's like, I was feeling everything for you. And she's like, I had a pain here, I had a pain here. I felt like I was going to be sick. And I was like, oh, I actually felt like I was going to be sick as well. It's mad how it was like, but it just goes to show. So she said to me, then she's mentioned like a thing about my papa, and then I was like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
and but she says things will come up. You're going to have emotions that come up. You need to not let them, not pull them down. Like, you just need to let it out. If you need to cry, if you need to scream, if you need to whatever, you just need to let it out because you're pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down, and your body is like fucking raging. Your body's like, come on, like, do you know what I mean? So it's amazing. Like, and like that, I've been doing all this work for a long time. You name it, the things that I have done. Like, I actually couldn't even tell you. But it just goes to show that there's always, like you said that earlier on, there's always healing to be done. And see, when you
mhm.
think you've healed, you're fucked. Do you know
Aye.
what I mean? Like,
Ends
it's
up the
mad.
next thing comes.
I know, absolutely. So, when did you feel the first kind of, was there a click moment where you realised you were becoming this different woman? Because you said like this year has been really transformational for you, like this last year. Was there a moment that you're like, oh my God, or has it just been like a progressive?
I think once I stopped being so in my head about things and I just
Yeah,
betted on myself and I just thought, do you know, I've never asked anyone permission to do anything that I want to do. I've always been the rebellious one. I don't let anyone tell me what to do. So I was like, so why am I sitting here like going back and forth with ideas of what I can do because I'm scared of what someone might think about it? And it's
yeah,
been the best decision of my life. Like
yeah.
literally, it's completely changed my life this year and the trajectory of my business. I'm
Mhm.
literally after tomorrow, I'm doing like a massive business plan for 2026 with someone that I wanted to work with for years. So the fact that I'm now sitting like going to do that when even I was there thinking, oh my God, what are people going to think?
Yeah,
How is it going to come across? So I think I think because I gave myself the space to just be me.
yeah,
And I don't think it's a pivotal moment, but I think
yeah.
just gradually. And I actually had said to Jason that once I was like, I think one night I said to him, like, he, sorry, I'm getting confused. He said to me, like, he was like proud of me. And I was like, but how?
Mhm.
And he's like, well, look what you've done. And I'm like, I know, but it's not exactly where I want it to be yet. So I'm not going to get excited about it. And he was like, but the reason, and I had said, actually, I said, but I don't understand how I got here. And he was like, you deserve it. You've put how much work in this year.
Yeah,
He's like, this is the result of your consistent action for the
yeah,
last 11 months. And
yeah,
it's like, you just need somebody to kind of ground you a wee bit and say to you,
absolutely.
so there's been totally so many different things that I put myself forward for and I've done that
Mhm.
has resulted in this. And I'm just glad that I've done it because now when I go to make this 2026 game plan next year, if
Go ahead.
anybody thought that this year's plans were wild, next year's are going to completely change my life. And
Which, but look at you, look at the way you are saying that with absolute conviction. Like, this is what's going to happen. Whereas probably last year you're a wee bit more tiptoey. Whereas now it's like it's fucking happening. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And
Which is
see,
beautiful.
as well, when you were saying, like, obviously, when you gave yourself that space to be able to, like, when you went to the tuning forks and you calmed down and you let it go. Because I started for the last 2 years, I started keeping everything down, not
Mhm.
talking to anyone about any feelings. And I have always been called tiny bubbles because I
Yeah.
cry at everything. So the last 2 years, I didn't do that. But see,
Mhm.
this year, where I've been constantly working on myself, doing something that I love and not something that I need to do just for money, I've
Yeah.
allowed myself that time. And that space again to be able to let it out. So now I do cry if something upsets me, and I'm not going, oh, I need to keep that down and like
Yeah,
pushing
yeah,
everything, because now it's all starting to come out, and
yeah, yeah.
it's creating like this better life for me because I'm not holding it in.
Yeah. And also there's a lot to say about like it being aligned, doesn't it? Like you're actually just being yourself, you're being authentically yourself, and it's beautiful to see like because there is so many people out there that aren't maybe as authentic or definitely put themselves out as a certain way and maybe aren't that in real life sort of a thing. But it's amazing how you can put yourself out there and be so aligned and so authentic and the repercussions of that is where you are. Do you know what I mean? Because you've just been like, I just want to be myself rather than try to be somebody else or be the in the shoulds of life where something that somebody else told me to do. Like you are successful in your own right because you stayed aligned to what you wanted to do and you are being completely authentic to yourself. And there's so many people in this world that are living a life based upon other people's opinions or other people's expectations, which is really sad because then it's yeah, like surely the life is not fulfilled because you're not
Yeah.
living in line with
With
who
what
you
you
want to
want.
be.
Mm-hmm.
100%. So you've obviously done a lot of inner work. Has that changed the way you run your business?
Oh, 100%. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when I've changed to do retreats and stuff, and I noticed a niche there, because one of the things that I will say is the company that I'm partnered with now, um, the owner, like I said, I've known them for a while, the two men that own it, and they actually had a meeting with me a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me when I had that first phone call with you, when you asked if you could join, and we were delighted, he
Mm-hmm.
said to his partner, Demi's got the freedom bug because they let you run your business any way that you want. And he was like so excited because he knew how happy I was to finally be
Yeah.
somewhere where I had free reign.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is how I've got here. But I definitely feel like it's influenced how I who I want to work with.
Yeah.
Obviously getting into retreats and stuff, and I'm doing all that work. This is why people take people on retreats to do this work. So
Yeah.
I understand how important it is to the coach. I also
Yeah.
understand how important it is to the clients. And and if I make that experience better for them and take away any stress or anything so they can focus on their craft, then I'll do
Mm-hmm.
that. It's a win-win situation. Um, and then obviously, like I would have never have dreamed that I would have been able to fill a retreat to Paris. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was one point when I had thought about it and I was like, oh, because I'm going to put this out here and what if I fail at it? But it literally went down a treat and it was so funny because me and Abigail wanted to go to Paris and we were trying to fit it in and I said to her, I've got an idea for you. I was like,
Yeah.
why don't we just make it a retreat and we take people? Because if me and you want to go for content, I know that there's other people that
Young
will want
people.
to go.
Yeah.
And why don't we make it a really good experience for them? So if I hadn't like done that work and pushed myself to do that, then I wouldn't have been able to fill it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the confidence to be like, we can
Yes.
do this. Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what would you say to women listening who are stuck in that kind of same pattern that you were in? So, you're anxious, you were undervaluing yourself, you felt like you were failing. What would you say to other women like about?
I would say if you were sitting in that situation, take a break. Like literally take your time off, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I get that you need income, but you're only going to make it like worse, I think, like long
Yeah,
term, if you consistently show up to something that you don't align with and that you don't enjoy. I actually was on a training with a marketing girl I work with, and she said the same, like when it comes to content, when you're putting out content and you're not enjoying it, we can see it.
yeah, yeah.
If I'm sitting here going, right, so I've got a retreat for you. It's not very
Mm-hmm.
energetic. Do you know what I mean? But if
Yeah,
you're actually really happy about what you're doing, and that doesn't mean to say you need to put it on, but if you strip that back, give
yeah,
yourself the time and the energy to go, right, give your business an audit, give your life an audit and say to yourself, like, what's
uh,
working here and what's not, and
mhm,
where do I have the power to change things? It doesn't mean to say that you need to completely step away from your business, but that's what I did and it worked. I took a step
mhm,
back. I realized that these are no longer the clients that I want to work with. There's far too many people in my industry doing the same thing, and I'm sick of seeing it. How
yeah,
can I be better? What kind of service can I provide to people that will actually change the life of their business? And
mhm,
who can I relate to more? Women in business. I am one. I
Yeah.
understand the struggles, so
Yeah.
I get it. So that's exactly how I did it, and like I said, it's changed everything.
Yeah, and I think going back to talking about like you helping business owners, like you say, when somebody can resonate exactly with how you feel, that it just makes it feel more connected, I suppose. But also a lot of the people who run retreats, I actually didn't realise you'd done that until Abigail told me when I was at
Yeah,
that day with her. But for me, for instance, or anybody who runs retreats, the boring part is all the booking. For somebody who's like in that it depends, I suppose it depends on what your niche is, but like I love the delivery. I love like being doing all the stuff and seeing the shifts and da 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 and all this all the beautiful stuff that happens on retreat. But most business owners who are in, who love the delivery, who love the creativity, who love all that, they fucking hate the admin. They hate all that
yeah.
stuff. They don't want to do it. So it becomes like a,
You don't want to
do you know what I
be
mean?
you don't want to be stuck behind a computer screen when you were meant to be in front of people coaching them. And
Absolutely.
I think one of the good things about it is there's different ways that I do that. I can completely co-create the retreat with someone if it's their first one and
Hmm.
help like position it to what they want to do on which date, depending on
Hmm.
what service they deliver. Because someone might not actually know like
Yeah,
how the whole running of it. And then we can also, I can have people who, they make their own itinerary. They just need me to find the certain places. And I get that when you're in that line of work, you want something so specific. And I'm the
hmm,
same. It took me about a week to find the exact right hotel that I wanted in Paris because I
yeah,
knew the vision I had in my head. And
yeah,
I've got a quite good, I don't know if I can name this skill, but when someone tells me something that they're looking for, whether it's a holiday or something, I get the vibe. I just get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can see it in my head. And also, it doesn't really matter if it's a coach, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's a content creation, whether it's a fitness one. There can be a whole host. It could be like a sales one, anything that someone wants to do abroad. And I know people always say they can maybe ask their PA to do it as well.
hmm,
But with the connections that I've got worldwide and the things that I can do that they maybe don't have access to, plus it's
hmm.
also the flight protection and stuff like that if they want that. And it's a wee bit extra of a luxury service for your clients because they're just then going to message me and say, can you book my flights? Demi, I need
Yeah, yeah,
transfers. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And it takes away any work that they then need to do for their sales
yeah,
rate as well.
for sure. Because I think it's just for me, certainly, it takes hours and I mean days to go through, like if it's your booking.com or whatever, like it is goes, it is like just into it, like to go through all that, it takes hours and hours and hours. So it's like the value of your time, isn't it? Where you could actually like that be doing something that is more aligned to what you actually do, like and give that to somebody else to do for sure. So what is one belief you wish you could gift every woman who doesn't feel good enough?
Oh, what was one belief that I wish I could gift every woman that doesn't feel good enough? Oh, I don't know. What would I say? I'm thinking. My brain's. I really don't know what to say. I think it's probably because I'm still feeling a bit like that way
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
It's like hard
Hmm.
to think of something because
Yeah,
obviously
for sure.
I I am women's biggest supporter. I am
Mm,
their biggest cheerleader. Like, see, as long as you're a good person, I'll back you
mm,
110%
yeah,
because I know how hard it is to be in the trenches with no one and
yeah.
nobody to help you. But I wish that they felt better. I wish that they, had a better, like, put the time and effort into their mindset to change that. Like, I do think one thing that I would say, even a piece of advice would be, is to like get off the social media channels that make you feel that way.
Yeah, 100%.
One thing that I did this year was I deleted my own social media. So all I've got my Facebook account and that's personal, but it's just to get into like the travel side of things that I need. Don't really
Mm,
post on it much, but I deleted my own Instagram.
mm,
I do have TikTok, but that's only for the purpose of my space videos.
mm.
Um, but it's like when you're constantly looking at stuff like that and you're seeing all this different stuff and all this different advice, put it down
Yeah,
because it's
yeah, because
literally
it's
warping your brain.
yeah, and it's contradictory a lot as well, isn't it? Like, and I remember I can't remember what the conversation was I was having with somebody, but I was saying about like if you want to find proof in what you in your narrative, you can find it, but you can find it on both narratives. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I can try to think of an example, like I don't know, let's have a think, let's have a think. That's too obvious. Uh, so maybe let's take a physical transformation for instance. So if somebody can say that weightlifting is the best thing for weight loss, somebody else can say no, actually running's the best thing for weight loss, and so therefore the goal's the same, but it's two completely different opposing ideas. Do you know what I mean? So like if you're looking for something, you can find both narratives, which just makes people confused as fuck. Do you know what I mean? It just makes people think, oh my God, so like you say, like get rid of all that because it's confusing. It's so confusing. It's amazing. Social media is amazing to have
Of
all
course.
this stuff that you can pull on and that you can get advice and whatever. It's amazing nowadays because there's a lot of things that were there that weren't there years ago. Like the whole that's why I do all the empowerment stuff. Like I didn't know that was like a thing that so many people put up with, like the domestic abuse. I didn't know that was such a prevalent thing because when you're in it, you don't
Yeah.
think anybody gets it. Do you know what I mean? So like it's so important that we have all these things that are like much more there's much more awareness, but sometimes like that people can find whatever thing they need to like back them up in whatever it is that their narrative or their perception is, and it can be confusing for people and it can be overwhelming for people, and then people go into this big rut where they're like, oh my goodness, like so I think yeah, you're totally right. If you could go back, I ask everybody this, if you could go back and to your former self, so little Demi, it can be as far back as you like. What would you say to her, knowing what you know now? What would you say to her?
Um, it all works out.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. And it does, doesn't it? It really does.
I
Like,
think like one of the biggest things that I've always, and when I went to therapy once, my therapist said to me, she was like, when I had said stuff, a lot of stuff to her over a few sessions, she was like, "You're very resourceful," and that's
mm,
always stuck with me because no matter how much hard my life gets, like I always get back up.
yeah, yeah.
But it's always, I think, obviously, it's like sometimes when there's it has been things that you've not dealt with, it's harder to get up each time. So that's why it's
Mm,
important to do that. So I feel
mm,
like in all the times when I was younger that I thought, I wouldn't be maybe accepted because of the way I was, or I was anxious, or I was different, or I was bullied, or all that stuff. And I had a child young, and people have opinions, and
yeah.
when I actually am saying this now, I'm like, it really doesn't matter anything. Like
Mm,
none of that matters. What matters is how much of a good person you are,
mhm,
and how hard you work, I suppose, if you've got a business and being
yeah.
authentic.
Aye. And I suppose like making sure life's happy, like you're
Mhm.
happy on your terms, isn't it? It's like life doesn't need to be this kind of rat race. It doesn't need to be like that. Like you can totally have it on your terms if you choose to do so. What's your vision for Noir Noble moving forward?
Oh, there's lots of secrets in there. So
Okay.
there's
You
so
can tell me what
many.
you're allowed to.
I know, I'll tell you later. There's a lot, there is a lot. And this is what I said, like, see, working with Maryland Travel Group, it has literally opened me up to so many opportunities and being a part of these networking groups, like even meeting people like yourself, like
Mm.
I can see the vision clearly now. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going on this 2026, 2026,
Um,
2026 Demi roadmap, where we're going into loads of different planning and strategies for the next year. But it's going to pivot, like it's going to be the same, but there's going to be some new things that I think people will be completely shocked about.
Exciting. I wasn't to hear about
There's just
it.
some things that I'm not too sure of yet, and I need to tweak them and do things because I want to make sure it's done right. So.
Absolutely. And also sometimes like you don't want to thing me to tell people about things too soon. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you need to keep wee things under wraps. Finally, what does unstoppable look like for you now?
It doesn't feel scary.
Mm,
Like, does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
I feel like I used to be this person when I was like in my 20s. Like, I literally was the one that used to say when I was like 20, like, I'll be a millionaire. And like, my
Mm,
family used to laugh at me. And I'm
mm,
not saying that that's still my goal now, but I used
yeah,
to have that mindset and I didn't care. I did
yeah.
not care. Like, I was like, I know what's within me. I know I'm meant to do to do something good. And I know
Mhm,
that I'm meant to be more. But I feel like now that I've done this work this year and I've got that proof that you talk about,
yeah.
that nothing that I want, I can't have. And if I can't have it, then it's not for me.
Absolutely. I think that's so important, isn't it? Like rather than pining for something, like acceptance and be like, right, okay,
Yes.
that's not for me. If it's not for me, it's not for me, and move forward. Where can people find you?
Demi, oh sorry, wait a second. Noir underscore noble at Instagram and Instagram. I was going to say
Fabulous.
at Instagram.com. I've
Um,
only
I
had
will
one coffee this morning.
I'll link all your stuff in the show notes as well. So if anybody can just get in touch with you, just sort of
Yeah.
drop you a message. Is that how it works? Amazing. So drop Demi a message if you so choose. If you want to pick her brains about any things that she spoke about today, or I'm sure she's open to chat about anything really, aren't you? You better let me chat about anything. Why not?
Business,
Um,
life, anxiety.
she loves a good chat. She loves a voice note.
She loves a voice
Don't
like
we
a
both? And like that, always you can reach out to me as well. But thank you so much, Demi, for coming on. It's been a beautiful episode. It's so amazing hearing all these massive, incredible stories. It's just I'm very blessed to be able help you share them. So yes, drop us a message if you so wish, and I'll speak to you next time.
Bye.